that might jeopardize.
Well, first off, Franklin, we now have proof that.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to Make It Grow here on WOOP FM.
WOOP-LP,
And I've got music playing.
Cleveland,
How's that?
Tennessee. Whoop.
Entertainment. Didn't stop.
So, we're going to talk about anything that grows,
Oh,
and sometime we may talk about things that don't
Don't
grow,
grow.
and we'll need to work on that. Good morning.
Good morning, Ron.
How are you? Tell us who we got here, Deb.
Am I kind of loud?
No?
Okay.
Well, you're always loud. so
I'm always loud.
I'll take care of it.
You wish he had a volume control at
Boy,
home.
is that the truth.
We're going to do Make It Grow for all the weekends in April this year with the Master Gardeners. And we know that you guys love to hear us talk about these folks can really solve your problems and help you with your planting. So but feel free to call in and ask them questions. Today we have Johnny Arnett with us, and she's a native plant person. That's her passion. And then we have Nancy Hoffman with us, and they're going to be with us for the next 45 minutes. So call your friends and neighbors and tell them that Ron and Debbie are on the radio talking about gardening.
Well, hopefully they're going to be talking about it again.
But now we have been planting things.
Yeah, some still cool weather stuff coming up. First, tell us about the Bradley County Master Gardeners Organization. Before you do that, you got to get the microphone up there. Too.
Oh, sorry.
You're not talking to me now, Johnny. You're talking to the world.
Okay. We're really excited about our Master Garden organization. We've been in existence. This is going on our 4th year. And we were, this year at our Master Gardener Winter School, we earned a really neat distinction. It's called the Golden Shovel Award, and what's so funny, the shovel's not golden, it's silver. But anyway, we won this award for our Junior Master Gardener program, and y'all know about our Junior Master Gardener program at the Juvenile Court Center, and we're really excited about this. And these were Master Gardeners from all over the state of Tennessee, and I think four categories were chosen, and we were one of the winners. So
okay. The Junior Gardener, in case people who don't know, is that the Master Gardeners spend time with young men and women who've got into some type of little trouble, and the judge gave them an option: go to jail or go to this class. So they take a group of young men and women and teach them about gardening and all the things that go with that. And it's amazing. I haven't got a chance to go here the last couple of weeks due to my knee problem, but they take the kids, they do it through a classroom about all different aspects of how plants grow,
worms.
soil, all that. And then they actually have a garden up at the top of the juvenile center where they go in there and they plant things and grow things. And the kids are amazed that carrots come out of the ground, not Walmart. And last year, Voluntary Energy Cooperative donated some money, and they have a greenhouse now, too. So this is really a great program. Actually have some students who've come back to help teach other students now. So it's a pretty amazing program there. Now, Deb said that you can answer all questions. None of us can answer all questions. And what we can do is we can find you the person who can. So if you have a question we can't answer today, we'll write down your name and number, and we'll get someone to answer it for you.
And we'll give you the number for the UT Extension Office, and Kim Frady and Patrick Sweat will be glad to answer your questions.
Now, the Master Gardener program is a program of let's see if I get all this right, the Tennessee University of Tennessee, Tennessee State University
TSU.
Agricultural Department.
Right.
Or agency.
You're good.
It's a big, long name, but that's the official name of what we used to call the extension agent. So, and we have two here. We have Kim Frady and then his assistant, Patrick Sweat. So, and the number there is
7001.
One. I was going to say two. I thought.
Well, it'll get there 1, 2, 3, or 4.
So, first thing I would like to say to you, if you're getting ready to grow a garden, one of the first things you ought to consider doing is going by the extension office there at Church Street,
95 Church Street.
95 Church Street, and pick up a soil kit. Basically, what they will give you instructions. You'll go out and dig several holes through your yard, take that, mix it all together, and then, or your garden spot, your yard. If you want to grow grass,
Be sure to get it dry. Don't do it
Yeah.
right now. Let the soil be dry.
when it's dry, then you get it together and you send a small sample of that, and it costs you about $7. And then the state will send you back information about what you should do to that soil.
And they'll want to know what you're going to grow
Right.
there, like if it's a garden spot or if you
Yeah,
want
if you're garden, if you're growing tomatoes, if you're growing grass, if you're putting in an area where you're going to put in peach trees or a huge cornfield, whatever level that you're going to do, flowers, they will give you a soil report and says you need to put 10, 10, 10, or you put different type of chemicals.
Right.
And
It'll tell you what you need,
too
what
acidic,
additives you
and,
need
right.
to
So-
put in there.
So that'd be the very first thing you do if you're going to grow a garden and you've never done it.
That's the first thing we have our Master Gardener class do. We give them soil sample kits on the first night, and they go home and do soil samples. And this year's class just got theirs back, and they're all excited. So
Good. All right. So it's April 4th, and all of us people who like to plant some things. I'm not a huge gardener, but I do like to grow a handful of things. I want to plant something so bad, but it's still a little early, isn't it, Nancy?
They got a frost warning up for tonight.
Yeah. So unless it's a cool weather crop, it's probably already been in the ground. Onions and broccolis.
Those can be up right now. They're fine. You can plant right now seeds as long as they don't germinate before the 15th. You should be fine.
Okay. So if you bought a little tomato plant at one of the box stores or a nursery, I probably wouldn't put it out tonight or the next 2 or 3 nights. The soil,
The soil might be warm enough, but you'll have to cover it if it gets nippy.
middle of April, safer.
April 15th.
Oh, I could just see people heading towards Lowe's today.
Well, last
Go and plant
weekend it
those
was so
tomato plants.
pretty, and they were saying, "Don't plant yet. We're going to have the frost." So, I had a lot of natives up, so I got all my big black pots and went out on my tender things, my trilliums and my bloodroots, and I put in one of my back beds. I had just black pots sitting on everything. What was fun was having to go remove those the next morning,
Right.
And if you do cover things up with plastic, be sure to get it off the next day, because you'll think, well, I covered it up. Why didn't it, you left it on there for 3 days and it baked,
Yeah. So, of course, in Tennessee, we all know one day it's 20 and next day it's 80. Mm-hmm. And, so when it gets 80, that black plastic becomes evil.
Oh, bad.
Bad plastic.
So when you say native plants, Johnny, for our listeners, sort of give us a definition what a native plant is.
A native plant is not a propagated plant. I like to say native plants are what God has planted, Go out and walk in the woods, and, it's just so much fun. I was out yesterday, and I found putty root, and I brought Deb one today. Mm-hmm. Putty root is in the orchid family, and it's not a spectacular plant to most people, but it's got a pale green leaf, but on the back it's really purple. And now the trilliums are growing, and natives are really good because you can watch the hummingbirds on the fire pinks and the different plants. I mean, this is what they used before we started, digging everything up and started planting them. You see, I saw an email about, you dig up all the stuff that God planted, and then you put plants in that you have to take care of. Native grasses. I don't have a lot of native grasses, but I love native grasses because they're carefree. So.
Well, I like that idea already. Now, if someone wanted to learn more about native plants, or any type of books or websites or something they could go to?
Lots. My favorite book is the Audubon. It's a green plastic book. Love this book, but there's tons of books out there. Next weekend, the Chattanooga Nature Center is having their native plant sale at the Nature Center. It's off of down there off of Raccoon Mountain. There'll be signs. They have a lot of hikes, and they'll have people to walk around and tell you, what this is and where to plant this and the benefits of using this. I usually try to go to this. I'm not going this year because I can't go without buying plants. I have more plants right now that I haven't planted.
She's a plant hoarder.
I am a hoarder.
She's an addict.
I am.
A plant
I just,
addict.
Can't go to plant. Now, I can go to Lowe's and places and think, well, that's nice, but I don't need that right now because,
Well, now, can you buy native plants at Lowe's and places like that? Or
sometimes I found actually one day I found a couple of native plants at Walmart, but I'm not real big at buying native plants at places like this. I'd rather buy them from the Nature Center or Overhill Nursery, places that specialize in native plants.
we were out taking our granddaughter out riding around yesterday, and we saw a ton of May apples in the area up there, and they will bloom when?
Late May.
Late May, mm-hmm. And
I was guessing May.
Right, yeah,
They're called
yeah.
May apple.
But they're late May, early June, and only you'll see a lot of leaves, but only the female will actually. It's going to have 2 stems, and the flower will be in the middle of it.
Yes, and do those serve any purpose?
I'm sure that there are. If you go back to people, I think there's something about the root that's medicinal.
Okay.
There's a lady that does the wildflower pilgrimage in Gatlinburg, Isla Hopper. I think that's her name. Mm-hmm. She was just the authority. That's one person I wish I could get her hard drive and just copy everything in her mind, because she was just so knowledgeable about the uses. Like bloodroot. Bloodroot is it's a medicinal. And it's also, the root is used for dye. Indians use the root for dye.
Now, I want to learn how to grow ginseng, because I watched that show and it's worth a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can quite live in a high enough
Well,
elevation.
I know, but I'm just going.
Somebody called Ron one day. We live on a hill, and our soil's terrible. Wanted to know. We put some no trespassing signs up because we were having 4-wheelers. And this guy says, "Saw your name. Can we come and dig some ginseng?" And Ron said, "No." And I said, "Well, first of all, we're not high enough for ginseng,
All right, I just seen that show, and little root's worth a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
What do you like to do?
I like to hike. I like wildflowers. I like just big box store flowers that just stick in your yard.
Yeah, just put them out there. I go pick out the exact bloom I want. That works for me too.
Well, I do like that too. I like I like perennials because I only have to plant them once, but they're usually not as much color, right?
Ron thinks they look like weeds.
A lot of perennials do to me look like weeds.
And he yanked up my
They
foxy
have a-
glove and threw it out in the yard one time because he thought it was a weed.
They have a limited bloom period.
Yes.
They just come back every year. Where annuals, you put them in, they're going to bloom the whole.
Annuals,
season.
tend to have a annual means you plant them and they go away. And so
Sometimes
have
they
more,
actually come back.
They have more color. Actually, they have more color and
Impatiens will
bigger
come back.
Impatiens, yeah.
They aren't. The bloom isn't as good.
Begonias sometime will, won't they? But pansies and different things like that, which have a lot of color.
There's a native plant called Johnny Jump Up,
And they
it's
are really big this year.
Yeah, and they're really cool. They've got a little small bloom.
Now, last year at the end of the season, I dug up all my irises, which I hadn't done, and I split a lot of
Divided
them.
them.
And oh my gosh, have I got irises now? Oh man, they're everywhere.
And hostas.
We got.
Oh, hey,
spreader
I'll swap you
hostas.
some hostas for something.
Okay, you have hostas? Or
I don't.
You need some?
I need hostas.
Well, you just need to come dig away
Well,
because they're too thick.
Yeah, I've been taking plants. I took the first, 3 weeks ago, I took our master gardener interns. I took them Lenten roses and daylilies for sun or shade. And then last week, a friend had given me a lot of daylilies, and I took daylilies. So this week, I sent everybody an email that I'm moving my strawberries, and I've got a few that I'm not. Man, I got bombarded by people that want strawberries, so now I'm going to have to, dig up some that I just planted so everybody can get strawberries. Speaking of strawberries and plants, these strawberries I got at the Cleveland State Day, Green Day years ago. Don't forget to mark your calendar for April the 11th. It's the Cleveland State Green Day. And we will be there with the booth, but we'll do stuff on composting. We'll just have some general information.
That's next Saturday.
Next
right?
Saturday, 10 to 2, I think.
Okay, you need someone to have someone will be here that morning
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
part.
Ricky Talent's
So-
going to be here that
so
morning.
We'll make sure we'll remind.
Yeah, that's
everybody
why I
about
had
that.
to come today because I'm helping set up. But they will be doing a plant swap. That is the coolest thing. Just dig up a few plants and go up there. The strawberries I got up there one year. I think I got 2 plants, and they multiplied like crazy. So
We once bought some from 4-H, and they bloomed in the same pots for years. And finally, we dug them out so we could put something else in the pot. So you can keep strawberry plants
Oh,
for
yeah.
years.
mine are
Somebody
blooming.
planted onions in my flower pots, but we won't mention who that might be.
Well, I got some wild garlic. I mean, not wild garlic, but some garlic chives. And man, I go out there and cut those things and put them in my baked potatoes.
I put up planted garlic last fall, and it was doing great. And we had that last big cold snap
Awesome.
and got
'em.
everything except 1 or 2 of them. It just got them all, but they were all had done good. You plant them in the fall, and they're supposed to come up, and you would harvest them April, May.
Right.
Well, I'm going to have 1 garlic now instead of that.
One garlic.
Deb did. I planted some onions, and basically I had some left over, and I walked over to her little flower pot, hanging flower pot, and just put them in there. And I said we could eat. They wouldn't grow onions, but I might get some green onions out of it real quick.
Some chives. For,
So a little early planting the other little flowers in it.
Yeah. Well, I like to plant. I mean, we plant. I like to propagate. I just try to propagate everything I can get my hands on. So.
Now, Deb, early, and I asked you this, is that in our woods around our house, we had a lot of wildflowers there, and we've seen a decrease in those. But we feel it could be the fact is that in our area now, wildlife is moving into our area because the area across APD 40 doesn't have any trees or grass or anything anymore. So that wildlife in there is coming there. So we don't. I guess the wildlife could be eating those plants, or
And we try not to. There's some of those areas that we mow, but we make sure the plants have the opportunity to bloom, and then we don't mow until we absolutely have
Right.
to keep it from going wild. But we haven't sprayed, we haven't done anything, and we seem to be losing that natural.
Probably the cover too, and the animals. I don't know. I've got a book on things that are deer resistant, but
we have deer and groundhogs, skunks, possums.
they love my oak leaf hydrangeas. I've got to move them, but I haven't. I thought, well, all they're doing is pruning them, so I just let them. Let them go.
If they can prune the right area. it'd be
Yeah,
all right. If can do
they
it in
just
a
don't
circle.
get the symmetry
Yeah,
quite right.
Symmetry. Oh, I like that word, symmetry. So now, do you do a lot of planting every year, or do?
I do. I have started an herb garden, and it's something I've done for probably 40 years, and I really enjoy it. And I use my herbs in my cooking a lot.
Aren't you in a herb group?
Yes, I joined the Chattanooga Herbies Association,
Herbies.
and that's not a venereal disease. It is an herbalist.
Herbie. No.
But we have enjoyed. I've learned so much. The medicinal parts. The original reason that we grew herbs was not just for seasoning. It was for covering up spoiled food, and it was for medicinal. And a lot of it is just. It's fascinating, and I found out that the thyme that I'm growing, I have great big bushes of thyme, was originally what they made Listerine out of. Because it's an antiseptic. They make a tincture of it, and it's an antiseptic that you can just rub it on your skin and kill the bacteria.
I know I've sat through in one of the junior gardening class. I think I learned as much as the kids do sometime. We had a class about herbs and different things, and Robin Ramsey taught that class, and they had us all tasting weeds, what they looked like. The kids thought were weeds, and the different flavors and the sweetness of some of them, and so it was that was pretty interesting.
Well, the violets that grow in your yard I know they're a native plant, but don't like them because they just spread. They're edible. You can eat the little blue violets. You can sprinkle them on salads and eat them.
Well, that's get in them weed salads, That's
Yeah,
like
dandelions.
Now, I'm just going to. You don't sound like you say y'all.
Yeah.
I say y'all once in a while.
So you're
I
not
was-
you're not from this zip code originally, are you?
I was born here.
Oh, were you?
But I grew up in Michigan.
Okay, so you
I
have a
just-
little bit more of a northern sound, and I'm just picking on you now.
Oh, I know.
But you
Everybody-
can't.
We all
Fix
pick
it.
on Nancy.
Everybody knows the difference between y'all and all y'all, don't you? Y'all means you, and all y'all means all of everybody. So you gotta have that right. So speak my southern.
Yeah, we have. Remember the little book, How to Speak Southern? You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So grasses. I know none of you are expert in grasses, but aeration once a year, or should you do that early season, late season, middle of the season, anytime?
I think. I mean, we do it in the fall usually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after we get the leaves off. You know, we have to battle the leaves, get the leaves off. You know, we try to aerate, then fertilize.
Yeah. Now take all the leaves and dump it on your garden spot.
On your
Yeah.
garden spot or in a compost.
You want to be careful about the oak leaves that have the tannin in it, but
Mm-hmm.
the other leaves are good. And not walnut leaves.
No, walnuts are bad. I do my oak. I mean, they're just.
I've got one of them trees that drops all those little walnuts all over the yard. So
Well, I can't walk for hickory nuts in our yard. I can't. If you walk across the yard, you'll fall stepping on hickory nuts.
our hickory nuts has been down the last couple of years, hasn't it, Deb?
They usually run in 3-year cycles.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, well, good. I'm glad because they'd really been down, and I know the squirrel population went down. Of course, the red-tailed hawks had something to do with that. We had 3 beautiful red-tailed hawks, and you see the squirrel and the rabbit population go down. Now that's down, and the hawks are gone. So
Well, I had a hawk the other day that landed in a squirrel nest and got a baby squirrel. I watched him with the binoculars.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I hadn't seen that before. I thought, oh my goodness, the squirrel, I mean, I don't like the squirrels, but I hate to see the little ones,
well, the hawks and the squirrels have interesting battles. I know. I watched one.
The
squirrel.
blue jays and the hawks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What fights! But the
It's
squirrel went
loud
in
and-
the culvert in our end of our driveway, and the hawk watched it go in. It standing there watching it, and of course the squirrel came out on the other side
It
and
stood
left.
there
and the hawk
forever.
just stood there and watched and waited.
like it
young
was going to
hawks.
come out the
Yeah.
same place. Yeah.
We actually seen it was going down the driveway. A hawk dove down and grabbed a rabbit right at the end of the driveway, and we stood there and watched him hold it, and did take off, flew out with a big old rabbit. So,
Well, one came down one day and picked up a chipmunk right in front of me in my backyard, and I just, and dropped it, and he swooped right down. I mean, he was just really close to me, just sort of blew my mind.
talk about the Master Gardeners real quick. There is a annual class that you can take. It's called the Master Gardeners class. And you can become certified as a Master Gardener and become a member of this organization here.
We have fun.
Yeah, and if you just want to learn about growing, it's a 16-week class.
14 to 16.
Yeah, and you go 3 hours one time a week for 16, and they'll talk about soil.
Mm-hmm.
They'll talk about trees. They'll talk about bees, the birds and the bees. They'll talk about wildlife. They'll talk about vegetables, perennials. You name it, and the speakers are unbelievably. We got a call here. Let's see who wants to talk to us this morning. Good morning. You're live on Make It Grow. Hello. I guess
think
did.
they were there.
I don't think they wanted to talk to us anyway. All right. If you did want to talk to us, call us back at 614-5553. If you're out of town, call us at 423-614-5333.
No. 5.
What does I say it wrong? 614-5553.
Yeah.
And if you're out of town, it's 423-614-5553.
Yes.
You're
Now
good.
that you're confused, okay, you can also go on the internet at www.whoopfm.com, and you can talk to us or send us a message here, and we can talk to you live. And you can also see these ladies here talking about this. You're out worldwide. You're international.
Yeah, I told Nancy that, and she's,
To dozens of people.
yeah.
We actually do have listeners in different states, and it's pretty interesting sometimes when they let us know where they are.
Yeah, we do know one of our master gardeners that was instrumental in starting our group, Mike Arnold, has watched, so it's kind of neat to have people out of state.
If you're interested, the class is going on right now, so you're late for this year's class. But if you're interested or think you may be interested in going to this Master Gardeners class, call at 728-7001, and they will put your name on the list and give you a call next year. I tried to get in for 4 or 5 years. I just couldn't. My schedule never met up, and then
Ron and I couldn't contact on that. I've called him for
and
years.
Finally, they got me last year, and I went through the class last year, and I loved the class. And not all the parts was interesting to me as the others.
Right. We all have our favorites.
I love the bees, and I love the wildlife problem, since I have so much of it in my house now, and it came in very handy last summer when all the creatures said, "Let's go to Ron's house." So
you need to get Myron sometime to talk about the bees. He would be really good.
Myron came in.
That's right.
Last year and did that.
Very
Myron was
interesting.
very good. And
bees are always interesting.
last week Gene Flowers, who come to, he does bees and did that. He was pretty interesting. He talked about some natural weed killers that doesn't hurt your bees or your animals.
Right.
And vinegar and some Dawn liquid and something
Yeah,
else.
we're through the UT. We're not allowed to, they sort of
Yes.
frown on us telling about Jerry Baker's, home remedies. So we,
Well, Gene can.
Gene can,
Yeah.
we're,
But and also he had some natural things to teach to do pH with it.
Right.
So it's interesting things. But
if they want to know more about, we're going to be at the Green Day, and we'll have information about the Master Gardener organization at the Green Day. So they're welcome to come and pick up any information we have about the Master Gardener
let
organization.
me tell you my favorite part of the Master Gardener thing.
What was your favorite part?
About halfway in there, we have
Snacks?
we have snacks.
Yeah.
It's amazing snacks.
Oh,
too.
it got to be
a competition.
It
isn't
got to be a competition, and this year we're doing this. The first week we spoil on the Master Gardener organization furnishes the snacks, and then we say, guess what? You get to do it. But everybody's really great. We get two people a week that bring the snacks, and they have we.
And the classes are 20 to 30 people normally.
This time we've got. We can take up to 50, but we moved our night this year to Monday, and we've not had as good attendance this year. But but the people that have been there have been really good, and I think we're going to get some really good people out of this organization to be out of this class to be in our organization.
So like I say, there's it's a 16 week, 3 hours of your
Right.
night, roughly 3 hours, one time a week.
6 to 9.
And it's really educational. If you're a gardener, even if you think about it, I want to be a good gardener, and what I took to find out why I was killing things, not necessarily how to make things grow better. Let's see, can I make it live through the season now, and I'd be a better gardener than what I was. And as I said last week, I should have listened to what my grandfather had tried to teach me, and I did not. So, I would have been a lot better gardener to do that.
Nancy took our class last year, and she's really active. In fact, she's one of our vice presidents this year. So, it's really good to see these people go through our class and get active in our organization. And I took Nancy last year on her first down to Pigeon Pocket, and it's really fun to take people from our class and get them interested in natives. I love the perennials and because I have perennials, I have hostas. And I love the natives. The only problem with the natives is April and May, and they're gone. So I try to really get out and go to the woods April and May. So.
Well, I've tried to be as active as I can, but not. But I've helped do the radio show.
But
and doing the junior gardener,
the junior master gardener.
I've done a lot of that, and I've enjoyed all that activity. And so, you don't have to become a member of the Master Gardeners organization
you
to
can
take
still
the
take the
Master
class.
Gardeners class. So I have some friends I know have taken it or not active in
Right.
there, but they did it because they enjoyed
Well, it's
gardening.
great training.
It
It's
is.
just a great training, and I mentor the class, which means I'm there. I send emails. I'm the one that calls everybody to sign them up. But my husband was kidding me. He says, you keep taking this class. I said, I don't take the class. I said, but yes, it does help me to go back and remind, because I took the class in 2001. And
Well, and it's sometimes a different question you never heard before.
Exactly.
You didn't think to ask it that way, or even a problem you'd even associate with.
Well, even in 2001, there's a lot of chemicals that we don't use now that we
Right.
used in 2001. So, the chemical class is really, I don't personally like to use a lot of chemicals. I'd rather, get to know this weed on a one-on-one basis and dig him up and just throw him in my, But
I wish I could learn to move the ants somewhere else.
yes,
Last year I had beautiful tomatoes, and you'd go grab one and start walking to the house, and there'd be a tiny hole somewhere in that tomato that all the ants would run out and get on my hand. And then, of course, they start biting you then. So it just ruined all my tomatoes last year. And the year before that, the squirrels like my tomatoes. So
well, we have we've got 2 big rabbits in our yard, and so they're already scouting out my strawberries. So I know that they're going to be eating my
Oh, the
strawberries.
squirrels like strawberries
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
well, the squirrels would they'd eat a big hole in the tomato and suck all the juice out, and then they'd leave. So I said, I'm going to get them. I took some cayenne pepper, and I spread all over all those tomato plants and like that. They were Mexican squirrels.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, they
loved
loved
it.
that hot sauce. Boy, I was going, I can't believe this. So I tried a little bit of everything. So, but my squirrel population is drowned tremendously because the red-tailed hawks had got the squirrels, and now, of course, in a few years we'll see the squirrels come back and the rabbits come back. And
Have you seen a reduction in the hawks in the area?
Yes.
I had 2,
Yes.
and now they're not there, and I have more rabbits than I could shake
well,
a
that's
stick
what
at.
I had 3 there, and we also had a great horned owl in the back. Sit on a dead tree right by the moon all the time.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful place, but now I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen the hawks at all. I think I seen a hawk in the area the other day, but I think the food source, as it eats all the rabbit
Decline.
squirrels, you'll see them decline. And something I've been trying to get is the barn owl, the heart-shaped owl.
Right.
I put up some houses for them and still haven't got any. The squirrels got in them.
A squirrel moved in. We call him Hooter.
Hooter the
So, but I've been
squirrel.
trying to get those to come in the area because they kill so much mice, and we live next to a pasture that has horses, or used to have horses, and don't anymore. But a lot of mice, but and they're dying out in this area. And a lady that I work with showed me a picture of one on her fence by her house. She lives down right at the edge of Georgia, and she's got 3 or 4 in her area.
Wow.
And I'm going, I can't believe it. So I've tried. I can't get any bats in my bat house.
Yeah, I have a.
So of course,
I've had the bats, but I've lost all the hawks, and I haven't had an owl in years. And the squirrels and the rabbit population is just overruns my gardens.
well, I think as soon as a hawk comes by and finds it, you'll probably have some hawks in that area.
I
We
can
had,
al-
we had a nest up there where they.
Yeah, I can always tell when I got a hawk because the blackbirds and the raven, they're flying around trying to.
Oh yeah, there's blue jays and the hawks really have huge fights.
They're funny to watch.
Yeah.
Funny to watch is when a mockingbird chases a squirrel and picks him up by the tail.
Oh, that's cool.
Got a call here. Good morning, you're live on Make It Grow.
Is this Swoop Radio?
It is.
I can't pick you up. Is it, you putting out the signal?
I hope we are.
As far as we know.
That's the only thing I can.
Thank you.
We're inside here, so we don't know.
I got 2 radios, and neither one of them won't pick it up all the way before it.
Well, I do not know. We went out in the lobby, and our radio out there is working, so I could not tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, sir. Just try back later. Sometime we're not the most powerful radio station in the world, so sometime when it rains or the wind blows, we don't get everywhere.
I just got a mile from the station. They don't pick up.
It should, yes, sir. Keep trying. Turn off your radio and turn it back on. Who knows?
Plug it up.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. I wish I had an answer to all those technical problems sometime, just like I don't know how to make everything grow either. But, you don't do garden stuff,
I
vegetables.
do. I do, tomatoes and cucumbers because my son, I'm limited with sun. But I'm going to try the straw bale this year. I think that's going to be,
Right. And
something
what about
different.
You do a lot of. Now, it don't take a lot of space to do what you do, does it?
No, I've got an acre, and I keep it full of flowers and herbs, but I have like
So if you-
12 walnut trees, which means you don't grow vegetables.
right.
If I started to say, if you had an acre of herbs, you really had plenty.
It doesn't take very much at all, but I love to share, so I share
Yeah.
my herbs with everybody that thinks they might want some.
we
so
know
what-
where to get basil this year.
Yeah. So what is the one thing most people when they think herbs? What one thing do they want out of?
They want cilantro, they want basil.
Okay.
But I also have sage and rosemary, lavender, 2 kinds of mint, chives, dill. Dill is expensive when you buy it in the grocery store, and I found out that's because it takes a whole lot to make a little bit. It takes a lot of plants to get just a few tablespoons of dill. So I have just about everything that you could want.
What's good to put on dill? What's a good food? Is
for dill?
For dill.
I like dill on everything. I like it mixed
Salmon.
with
Salmon. That's awesome.
I like it on salmon. I like it on any kind of fish. I like it on baked potatoes. For Christmas, I always make people these little seasoned oyster crackers, and dill goes in that. So there's just all kinds of uses for dill. It always makes something taste really fresh.
Nancy's a great cook. She brings stuff to our Master Gardener class all the time. So we like, Nancy's a great asset for us.
I'm a dinosaur.
There was a one that is a natural sweetener, and they make certain natural sweeteners.
Stevia?
Yeah.
Stevia, yeah. Matter of fact, I went and bought some at the store of that instead of using sweet and low.
Mm-hmm.
So I've switched to that, and it actually don't take much of it to make
No,
it sweet.
it's sweeter than.
Yeah.
And you can grow that here. You can grow it in a pot, or you can grow it, in the ground. It's because of the popularity. It's a little bit expensive to buy the plants to start, but I'm sure the price will come down as the popularity grows.
Good. Well, I see. That's one thing I tended to the junior gardeners plants, and heard Robin talk about that, and so I went and actually said, well, I'm gonna go to the store and see if I can't find some of that made out of that, and
It's getting more popular than.
and the thing is, it's more of a natural sugar, and of course, when you're a diabetic like I am, you have to watch any kind of sugar, even if it's natural, can run your AC1 up. I never get that right. I think that's it, but it's definitely better for you.
Yeah. And, you have to be careful with bananas. And everybody thinks a ripe banana is better. And, but the riper the banana is, the more sugar content it has. So you have to be careful.
Everything you eat turns to sugar. Like, I'm a diabetic, and I don't care how good it is. It all turns to sugar.
Potatoes,
And some things turn to sugar a lot more, though. You know, and so you just have to learn.
we think eating our vegetables are good, but we eat our baked potatoes and they turn straight to sugar. So.
And broccoli is a good thing, but it's a food. It still turns to sugar. Not as much sugar as a cupcake.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of difference there. So broccoli is good for a lot of different things, and that's one thing I can't grow yet. I can't grow it very well. I grew some last year.
You just have to learn where to plant it and when to plant it.
Well, I haven't got that secret. And I tried Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. Have you ever grown asparagus? I'd love to try to grow.
I've got asparagus. Hopefully will come up this year. I planted it last year when you're supposed to, and we'll see if it comes up.
But it's so easy to go to Walmart, to the grocery store, and and grill. I love to put it on the grill.
Yeah, it's 2 years before you probably actually get something to eat, and so I'll see if it. I planted it. Let's see if it comes. I hadn't came up yet. And I'm going. I keep looking at it. Everybody says it's right there. It should become something. It should be coming out of the ground. Brussels sprouts I grew. Most beautiful green plants you ever saw in your life. They're just so healthy and everything. And I didn't get a Brussels sprout.
Yeah, but you had pretty plants.
So. Oh, the plants were great.
Yeah.
From a green plant, they were dark green. And healthy. There's no bugs. I was going, well, great. There's no. You could see where they were starting to form on the stalk.
It was missing something.
And then basically all we ended up with I ended up with one marble, about the size of a marble. That was my one Brussels sprout. And I'm going. So I'm going to try them again.
Yeah, that's great.
I like to grow something different every year. I'm going to grow cotton this year.
You talked about that in the Master Gardener class. I think that would be cool.
I'm going to grow cotton. We're not? Okay. Well, we'll have to figure out why we're not on the air.
I think the lightning took out your antenna.
It could have, very well.
Well, that's sad.
It is. Let's see here. Let me look here. Keep talking, ladies. It don't matter what you say right now. You could sing. Can you sing a duet?
We don't sing, Ron. You'd be
pay us
glad
to do that.
you weren't on the air if we sang, or if I sang.
Well, everything on our end looks like it's working, but so we don't know.
Well, they picked the good people. It's probably good that I'm here.
We're definitely on the internet, though. I can see that we're there.
Yeah.
So I have no idea why we would not be on the air. You can see there's just a few buttons over here.
Yeah, just a few million.
Well, we know all this is working here. So
something's flashing red over there. So
that's the CD player.
Okay.
So.
Well, anyway, they can go online and watch it after the thing is over.
Yeah, I hope it recorded.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, it's the record button's on, and it's going through that system.
And
so
Ron
we know
was-
that's working.
Ron sends us our link to that, so we get to watch
Yes,
that.
it's and
And Faith put a plug in the other day at our Master Gardener meeting for your show. So
yeah, and so it would be the day we have a technical problem. So we had another. I think the first show last year we had some kind of technical problem and missed the first 10, 15 minutes
yeah,
of it.
yeah, I remember that.
So it's you come in here on Saturday morning. It's the only time we're here, so we don't know what's happening the rest of the week. So it may not be on. Of course, we can hear what's should be going out over the air.
Right.
And so we got to hear the argument from Backfire there before we got
Oh yeah,
here.
we heard that. Yeah,
So and
We're on the computer.
yes.
but we're not on
Okay.
the.
Radio.
All right, can you call Whoop Repair for me, please? We got to call the technical people real quick. So,
I hope you're on the air for your at 10.
oh,
for
well,
Old
let's say
Town Club.
we've had great shows, and the power go off in the middle. We had a Pulitzer Prize nominated writer in here one day, and it went off. So so when we have good guests,
Right.
we have problems.
Yes, of course. You get the best, and you have problems.
So,
Well, we've got some. Let's see. Next week, I think it's Ricky Talent and Faith Sharp.
mhm.
Faith
And,
from Ooltewah Nursery.
Faith from Oodlewall Nursery.
Right.
Faith is our resident bug person. She knows.
Nope.
She knows. Nancy's your herb person. I'm your native plant person, and I do a lot of perennials. Linton Roses, black-eyed Susans. Our little grandson, when he was little, called them black-eyed Nusans.
Yeah,
So.
back when I was in the cable business out in our center of our little drive there, we planted black-eyed Susan. We planted a lot of perennials out there, so
So it
we
would-
didn't have time to go work on flowers.
Yeah.
But we had lilies and that and cannas. What is that? It?
Cannas.
Canna
Cannas. We had them over by the front door because another big bloom flower and seemed to be pretty easy to grow.
So.
Yeah. So.
Only problem with cannas is they multiply so much down in the south. In the north, you have to dig them up in the wintertime because the frost line is 4 feet down, so they don't survive. But down here, they spread so much that they choke themselves out for blooming.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of plants that my irises had got choked down, and like I say, I separated them, and they are very happy this year.
Daylilies need to be separated too.
Yes, I did a lot of that last year. I split everything because it'd been years since I had
I've
done
got to
it.
do that. I'm what I'm doing. I'm instead of trying to just weed, I'm just taking the shovel and digging it up and laying it over and separating and planting back what I want to
Yeah,
plant.
so I cleaned out the whole little bed up through there on both sides and got all the way down to the ground. And unfortunately, I don't have enough soil there. It's up next to the house, and I probably need to dig down about 3 foot and replace it all. But
Well, go over to Beatty's and get their Pro Mix. They've got great.
Oh.
I use Beatty's Pro Mix and put in compost too, and the mushroom compost is great. Haven't made a trip up to where is that in Sweetwater? Where's the mushroom compost place?
I don't know where it is.
Monterey. Oh, you don't know? Is it Monterey? It's up. Well, it's just up 75.
Oh, I need some. I did compost last year. I've got of course, I tell people when you compost is your food scraps and your grass scraps, and you'll get a handful of
It
usable
takes
stuff.
it takes a long
quite
time.
a bit
It
to
takes
do.
a lot. It's just like Nancy's time. It takes a ordeal. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of stuff. I have a twin bin, and man, like one side is almost done, but I'm still leaving it in there because the eggshells. Eggshells are one of the hardest things. You have to crush them up. They
Yeah.
don't compost real well, but they're great. Nitrogen. But the other side is full of stuff, and right now it's almost full. In 2 weeks, it'll just go down to nothing.
Well, that's I'm going to start my second bin this year. Try to because.
I've got a good story about compost if
Go
you want to
ahead.
hear it.
Go ahead.
I had a huge maple tree in my backyard that blew over. We had some straight line winds, and I had it cut up and the stump ground out. Well, you can't plant directly into that. So I decided I would just turn it into a flower bed, and I would do a year of direct composting where you just turn over, shovel of dirt, throw your stuff in, and cover it. Well, I had a craving for a bacon and tomato sandwich, so I bought a head of iceberg lettuce, and I peeled the outside leaves off and put them in my compost bucket. A couple days later, I went out and I buried it. The next week, I went out to bury the coffee grounds and stuff and turned over the same spot, and there's the lettuce exactly the way I pulled it off the head of lettuce. 2 weeks later, I turned the same spot, the same leaf of lettuce, same way I took it off the head of lettuce. I'm beginning to wonder if we should be eating lettuce from the grocery store. Because of course, you could use it for a facial mask. Because if it's not going to age in the ground, it sure would help the wrinkles.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, yeah, you would hope it should have been at least wilted by then. So.
It was hot outside. I mean.
So now, I would think that you should grind it up as small as you possibly can.
I try to chop stuff up before I put it in there, and even my eggshells, I crunch them up. And if you're putting in tea bags, be sure to cut off the little metal staple. And you can put your coffee grounds and your filters in there. I do that. I have a little metal compost inside thing, and that's what I put all my compost in. And then, like, every other day I take it out and put it in my big compost bin. So.
And this should be stuff that's not cooked.
Don't put leftovers. Don't scrape your plate.
Right.
And don't put salad with dressing on it. It needs to be
No oils,
no
fats,
oils, no fats,
no meat.
no
Just
meats.
natural stuff. So as you pulled the outer leaves of the lettuce off.
And when you
Potato
clean your
peels,
refrigerator
vegetable
out,
peels.
and
Yeah.
you've got your leftover carrots that are sort of
Getting soggy.
getting soggy, I just chop all that off.
Strawberries are getting a little soft.
Yeah,
I throw them in there.
I love strawberries, but you just can't. I have a hard time eating all of them, and they go bad quick. So you
Me
could
too.
freeze them, but I don't think about it soon enough.
And no meats.
No meats.
Because that would attract animals. And then if you can cover up most stuff with at least a layer of something, that way you cut down the bees.
Right.
You can also take your newspaper and run them through your shredder because you have to have a balance in your compost of
Right.
green to brown. Brown is anything that's dried leaves or dried grass or shredded newspaper. But if you cover it with a layer of shredded newspaper, that also allows the air to flow through and keeps the balance correct.
Great way to recycle your newspapers too.
So, once again, folks, too early to plant those seeds. I mean, not seeds, but plant your
Seedlings.
seedlings. If you went to Ace Hardware or Lowe's or Home Depot and Walmart, I'm not going to hope I don't leave any of you out. All the garden
Bradley High,
center.
Walker Valley. All
It
the
may be
places.
just a little early. If you just got to buy one, leave them inside for a few more days and continue to water them. If you want to plant onions, it's a little late, isn't it? Not. You can still
You
get
could
them.
probably still, but they're
Yeah,
going to get too hot.
and then any of the cold weather stuff is going to be getting a little too cool weather, I should
Right.
say. The broccoli should have already been in
Right.
the ground. Potatoes are a little late on potatoes even. If you asked the guy that plants by the signs, it had to be like now, or you'd be too late. Carrots, radishes, all that should have already been in the ground. And you talked about asparagus. Asparagus is more like a bush.
Right.
And it's a perennial.
It's a perennial.
And it'll stay there. And
Once it's established, it's great. It's just too hard to get it going.
once you get it going, is that when you go out and what we think is asparagus, what you buy at the store, well, you have to cut it off when it looks like that, or not, it's going to become a stem. It becomes the hard part of the and continues to grow. So that is going to be. I don't even know if we are. Hey, folks, we're past the time there.
Hey.
Next
We
week,
hope somebody heard us.
Well, if nobody, I
had fun.
We had
We
fun.
always
well,
have fun with
it will
Ron.
be on the internet.
Yeah.
And we'll get that out to you. And
Next week will be Ricky, Talent, and Faith Sharp.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds great, folks. So
Thank you, Ron.
Hey, let me play this music right here. This is our theme music. We got to have our own theme music. There you go. Hey, we'll see you next week here on Make It Grow. Stay tuned for Old Town Cleveland right here on Whoop FM.
into cash.
The cash you need is closer than you think.
Get an auto title loan today for up to $2,500 at Check Into Cash.
You drive home with the cash in your pocket.
Visit Check Into Cash for an auto title loan today, or get a payday advance for up to $425. Call toll-free 877-262-CASH. Title loan amount determined by value of car and ability to repay. Borrowers often use payday advances over a period of months, which can be expensive. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. Whoop FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Check into cash. The cash you need is closer than you think.
Get an auto title loan today for up to $2,500 at Check Into Cash.
You drive home with the cash in your pocket.
Visit Check Into Cash for an auto title loan today, or get a payday advance for up to $425. Call toll-free 877-262-CASH. Title loan amount determined by value of car and ability to repay. Borrowers often use payday advances over a period of months, which can be expensive. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
If you need